So what we've done is we've broken our show into different chunks that you can grab onto. And this chunk right here is about recovery. Recovery is never an easy road, but it's always something that's possible. And this next guest has walked down that road, and they'd like to share their story with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to be speaking to the man, Tyler Shelly, today. How you doing, my brother? Great to meet you.
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Nice to meet you as well.
First and foremost, it's safe to say that at one time in your life, you were addicted to alcohol, drugs, opioids, or a combination of the three. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Bro, I've never done an interview like this to where I'm speaking with someone who was addicted, but now has completely overcome that addiction. So can you talk to me about how do you go from just being a normal young man like me or like anyone else watching this program to literally becoming addicted to alcohol, drugs, and opioids?
So it all started with really just smoking a little bit of weed and drinking some beer on the weekends with friends, going out, house parties, things of that nature. Never really thought much of it at the time, and but didn't take long to kind of progress to those harder drugs that I thought I would never do in my life.
Was it peer pressure, or was it just your own curiosity, or was it stress at the time? What led to you experimenting?
So I think it was a mixture of things. Definitely curiosity and peer pressure were definitely two factors. Actually, hanging around a crowd of people that are doing these things obviously makes it easier to do other drugs and alcohol. But I think a lot of it too was just me kind of wanting to feel a part of, in a sense, wanting to make more friends or be liked and be with people that I wanted to hang around with and kind of get to their level. So it's kind of a mixture of things, any kind of uncomfortability I was living with in that time, anytime I got high or anytime I got drunk, maybe just feel like I was the man, and that's a big thing that I searched for and that I kind of chased for a while, and just it just gave me a feeling that made me feel invincible in a sense, and like there was nothing wrong in my life when I was getting high or when I was drinking.
Man, talk to me about the ugly parts of addiction. What are some of the dark moments, man?
One instance I remember in particular was waking up in the morning in a physical withdrawal state, in a puddle of sweat, freezing cold, and trying to figure out that morning, I have no money in my pocket and I have no drugs and I have no alcohol, and I got to figure out how I'm going to get mine for that day, and those are the darkest times that I still remember vividly to this day, waking up mornings and trying to figure out how I was going to get through that day, just to kind of get to like a equilibrium state kind of thing. And just, those are the moments I don't ever want to forget.
When you were in those darkest moments, the same people who you were trying to impress or fit in with, were they there to help you in those moments?
No, it's the people that were on the opposite end of the spectrum, like my parents.
So now let's talk about recovery, because you get to where you hit rock bottom, you mess personal relationships up. You like you said, you had legal troubles. When you say legal troubles, meaning you actually got arrested before for doing drugs. Is that what you're saying?
I'll never forget the day. It was January 4th of 2013. I strung together a few days sober at the time, and I had a knock at my front door, and I walk up the steps, and it was 3 detectives and a county officer waiting for me with a warrant for my arrest, and ended up taking me to a police station into jail, which is kind of where I really hit rock bottom. And I still remember sitting in my jail cell, and I was in like that physical withdrawal state still. So not feeling good, flu symptoms, not sleeping. It was early January. I was freezing. And I remember looking out my cell window, and there was a local interstate that you could see. And I would watch people kind of drive to work in the morning and come home at night. And I was trying to figure out, how did I get here so quickly? A year and a half ago, I was a full-time college student at a university in Ohio. And then it seemed just like that, things just really fell apart.
So the road to recovery, did it start as soon as you got out of prison, or when did it really start?
So I think when I was in jail that time, and it wasn't that long of a stint, what happened was I ended up getting court ordered and transferred to inpatient rehab. And that's really where it all started for me. Prior to that, I didn't have too much exposure to any kind of recovery programs or anything like that, or at least nothing that I paid attention to. And when I got into an inpatient program, that's where I really learned and was educated about about alcoholism and about drug addiction and what it really is. And it was really the first time in my life that I was open to hearing it as well, because I definitely grew up with a mentality, big ego. There's no way I'm ever going to get in trouble. There's no way I'm going to end up like that. There's no way I'm going to get addicted to drugs. There's no way. And it was finally a time that whatever happened inside of me, I had like a moment of clarity, and I got introduced to people, a bunch of people around my local area that were young and sober, because I was 20 years old when I got sober. And got connected to that network, and kind of that was the start of a really good foundation to kind of help me get back out into the real world after that.
So it's safe to say that you recovering when you did saved your life.
I absolutely believe that.
Powerful. Tyler, if you had a chance to go back in time and literally talk to yourself, your teenage self, your 14-year-old self, what would you tell yourself, bro, if you could stand here as a grown man and speak into the younger version of you?
I would tell myself to listen to my parents, listen to my good friends who weren't drug users and who didn't drink, and listen to them and I remember them many times saying, maybe you have a problem. I think you might be a drug addict. Maybe you should go get some help. And maybe listening to what they have to say, the people that were closest to me, that loved me unconditionally, listening to them and know that my parents only wanted the best for me. And same thing with a couple of my really good friends who were on the same boat as them, and just listening to what they have to say, not being so close-minded to it.
Thank you for not only having the courage that it's taken to recover and to overcome a strong addiction, but thank you for not keeping your story to yourself, man. That test that you passed has now become your testimony. So I just want to personally, from your boy D1, thank you for sharing your testimony, because you're blessing other people right now. I hope you know that, bro.
No, it's an honor.
Good. Tyler Shelly, ladies and gentlemen, my new hero.